All right, everybody, this week we're going to talk about the Southwest region. It's actually a really small region. There are, well, not necessarily small in size, but small in the number of states that are in it. They're pretty big states, so Texas is a big one. And you also have Arizona, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. So they may be only four states, but they cover a lot of land area. So that is a map of the Southwest. Yes, there are only four states in this region. So we have the capital of Arizona is Phoenix, capital of New Mexico is Santa Fe, the capital of Oklahoma is Oklahoma City, and the capital of Texas is Austin. So if we look at the geography here, there are some important rivers. However, we do have a lot of kind of dry desert areas here. But you have the Colorado River over here. And then you also have the Rio Grande, and the Rio Grande is one of the border markers between the United States and Mexico. You can see how it creates the shape of Texas here on the bottom. And then the Colorado River is over here. It's also very important. Lakes that are important, two of them, these are actually really interesting. Lake Powell and Lake Mead are on the Colorado River, and they're actually man-made. So we put dams in place to stop the water, and it ended up filling up kind of a valley or a canyon that ended up making a lake. So we have two lakes there that are actually man-made. Large cities in this area, many of them are in Texas, but your top two are going to be in Texas. You have Houston and San Antonio, followed closely by Phoenix, and then Dallas, and then Austin as your top five. So this is Houston, this is San Antonio, this is Phoenix, this is Dallas, and this is Austin. So those are your most populated cities in the Southwest region. Just to kind of give you an image of what these are. So you're going to see a lot of desert areas in Arizona, in most of these states, really. So in Arizona, you see these really cool rock formations. That we'll talk about in some of the landmarks. But you see lots of desert areas. They're famous for a lot of cactuses. They do have city areas, and this is on a waterway. I'm not sure exactly which waterway that is, but they do have cities in Arizona, and they do, in this case, have water near them. Here is New Mexico. Now, New Mexico is right here on our map. So Arizona was here. New Mexico is next door to it. This is New Mexico. So again, you're going to see a lot of desert type areas. And yeah, they do have cities that you can see that this is a pretty low lying city, not real tall in the skyscraper department, but yeah, a lot more desert areas than in most of our other states. Texas, this big giant right here, is kind of an interesting one. Yeah, you're still going to see a lot of the drier desert type areas in Texas, a lot of flat land. But then way over on the Gulf Coast area, if we look at our map here, this is all on the Gulf Coast. So there is part of Texas that is actually Gulf Coast area. So you're going to see some beach type areas here in Texas as well, more on the eastern end. Oklahoma, I always think it looks like a frying pan with like a handle here and a frying pan there. So with Oklahoma, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see it's going to be really similar to some of the Great Plains that we've seen before. So low, like flat grassy areas. And then, yes, they do have some cities as well. All right, some famous landmarks, and these are actually really beautiful. This is Monument Valley in Arizona. So this area is known for its big towering sandstone. They're called buttes. Yes, I know it looks like butts, but they're called buttes. But those are those big stone formations that are there. So these are some really cool natural features here in Arizona. You're also in Arizona going to find the Grand Canyon. So it is a gigantic, gigantic canyon, and people from all over the world come to see our fantastic and amazing Grand Canyon. It was made by millions and millions of years of erosion, and we've got all sorts of geological history. The geologists, there we go, come here to find out all sorts of information about the past and the history of the Earth. This is beautiful. It's called Antelope Canyon in Arizona. I think the light in this is beautiful. It almost doesn't look real with the color of the stones. But I thought that was just beautiful. I figured you guys would think that was really cool. Cadillac Ranch. This is not a natural landform, but these are old Cadillacs this is an art sculpture that was put in Amarillo, Texas, and they are these old Cadillacs, and they've been painted, and it's a really kind of cool art installation. The Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico. So these are some caves in New Mexico. Really cool. It features a system of more than 100 caves, so it's a really cool place to explore. This is Shiprock in New Mexico. So again, some of these really big rock formations that are here in the desert area. The Alamo is a famous place for a battle that ended up happening. And it was also a place founded by Catholic missionaries in what's now considered San Antonio, Texas, but then it was also part of a battle in the U.S. history. This is the Hoover Dam. So this is what created the lake behind it, Lake Mead. So this is, you can see how gigantic this thing is. And then you can sort of see, if you look back here, see how it filled this area up. So this is the Colorado River, and then this is your lake behind it. So that is the, it's an amazing site. It's fantastic. This is Lake Mead, what we were just talking about. So this is the lake formed by the Hoover Dam. And it's the largest reservoir in the United States in terms of water capacity. So pretty amazing. This is Lake Powell, which is also that other man-made lake we were talking about. And this one's located in Arizona and Utah. All right. Resources are kind of interesting in this area because of a lot of the deserty kind of areas. So this dark brown color over here is the desert. So that's where you're going to get this with Arizona. But even in some of these areas that are not desert, they're still really dry. So they're good for things like grazing, like dried grass that the cows and the sheep and cattle and things like that are going to eat. So that's why you see a lot of like sheep, cattle, and things like that in these are your grazing areas. And then you do have some forests, some darker areas here that are forest, and then the lighter green are going to be more for farming, and those are going to be areas that are going to be a little bit more wet, that they would have more of those water resources. Other things that they make or have use of here in this area, you have coal. So there's coal up here in kind of the Rocky Mountain area up there. You also have lots of oil. Texas tends to be famous for having lots of oil. There are other minerals like copper, and then you also still have some cotton growing here. And then they're also famous for having gold and silver in those areas as well. So here's some pictures of it. So these are kind of your three main resources for the land. You've got farming, you've got forest, and you've got grazing. These are some of the rock and mineral resources. So you have coal, copper. This is an oil rig, so it's pumping oil from underground. And then this is silver and gold. Now, obviously, this is not what silver and gold look like when they come out of the ground, but those are silver and gold bars, just to represent that. Other resources, you have cotton. Remember, that's the cotton plant we talked about earlier last week. And then you've got sheep, and you have cattle. So, on to this week's bingo. And if you already watched the little bingo intro, this will be familiar. So as always, you're going to get 3 across or 3 down or 3 diagonal, whichever way you choose to do it. Choose your activities however you like, just so you get a bingo. So articles, you have one about the geography of the Southwest and the questions that go along with it. One about the resources of the Southwest and questions that go along with it. An article just about New Mexico and Arizona and questions that go along with it. And then an article of just about Texas and Oklahoma and questions that go along with that. Another bingo activity would be this states and capitals activity. There is a word search. There is a crossword puzzle. You can design your own quarter. Make sure that you tell me which kind of quarter it is or which state you're representing. This is the screenshot of the Epic books for the Southwest region. You can choose any one of those. Just make sure that you submit a completed screenshot of your book so I know what you've read. If you're looking for more work beyond that, there's always optional stuff. You could do a coverall, or you could come back here to the optional activities. So you could create a water conservation plan. Because of all that desert land, they do have a water challenge. They tend to use the Hoover Dam and some of that for energy, and they pipe water to different places from other water sources. Writing a diary entry, or you can also explore other information. So that is the Southwest, and I can't wait to see all your work. Have a great week, and check into office hours if you have any questions. Thanks, guys. Bye.